at londonreal.tv/Zoom. That's where I'm getting all the juicy comments from. But YouTube, if you want to put anything here, let me know. Today, I'm going to talk about this one question. Is it time to sell all your crypto altcoins? I'm going to be going deep. I'm going to be showing some charts here on Zoom. And also, we're going to ask, do we want to also keep our Bitcoin and Ethereum? And finally, your stablecoins do's and don'ts. Just want to say before I get started, I am not a financial advisor, and none of this should be considered financial advice. But we're going to pool some ideas here and talk about some coins, and I'd love to get started. So who here on Zoom is ready for a screen share? Are you ready to see some charts and some things like that? Yeah, you want this? Okay, Tom, all right, great. And Tomas as well. And if you're coming late to Zoom, camera's on, but great to see some beautiful faces. And type in and tell me, what city are you from? And then lastly, yes or no, is it time to sell your altcoins? That's what I really want to know. Let me get through here and start sharing and get into some really good IP here, because this is what I want to do. All right, let me just see. Thumbs up if you can now see my screen share. Michael Batista, you see that as well. Okay, great. And it's me looking pretty serious in a chair saying, is it time to sell your altcoins now? And again, I'm going to pull up the chat here as well so I can see everybody talking to me in real time. But this is the question we want to ask ourselves right now. And if you just keep giving me thumbs, we can kind of jump through it. So before we get started, I always like to think about the philosophy of what we do here in the Academy. And you've seen this before, but I'm going to show it to you again. And that's our old friend Sun Tzu. And he always said in his book, The Art of War, every battle is won before it's ever fought. We like to have a game plan before we get into tricky situations, so then the game plan can work itself, as opposed to trying to have to react in the real time. Is that clear for everybody here on Zoom as far as that mentality? So let's try to be prepared with kind of a program in mind, as opposed to just reacting to situations. So that's the plan. Again, if you want to join us, it's londonreal.tv/Zoom, but let's just jump into it. And today I want to cover three things. First of all, I want to ask this burning question: is now the time to sell your crypto altcoins? And, you know, I want to go into some deep questions here. Should I really sell these? Do you keep your Bitcoin and Ethereum? And I want to talk about stablecoins, do's and don'ts, because if you do sell them, you might be going into stablecoin, and we need to talk about stablecoins and what they are and what they mean. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly. I'm going to be answering any questions. If anybody's got any questions, if you're coming in late, tell me where you're from. We got Alan from Bucharest. We got Martins from Latvia. And we got a bunch of people here giving me locations and places, Liberal, Kansas as well. So great to have everybody here. Let me jump in here and talk about this. Before we get started, I was having a conversation last night with my Kings of DeFi, which is in the Crypto and DeFi Academy. And we all asked ourselves, are we in a bear market? And so I want to ask everybody here on Zoom, and if you're here on YouTube as well, give me a yes or no if you think we're in a bear market. That's what I want to hear. And then I want to define what it means. But go ahead in the chat if you're in the Zoom. Yes if we're in a bear market. No if we're not. Let me see. We got a couple yeses. We got a couple no's from Peter and Jan. Who else here in Zoom wants to give me a yes or no? Christopher says yes, it's a bear market. Peter says no. Badrine says yes. We got Thomas saying yes. Thomas saying yes. Zachary saying it's hard to know. This is why I want to talk about this, okay? And in YouTube, Michael says since November, and Alan says yes on Michael as well on YouTube. John says no. If you're on YouTube and you want to join us in Zoom, it's londonreal.tv/Zoom, and you can see our faces and I can get your comments in real time. But let's look at a definition of what a bear market is. You can see it on screen here. And a bear market is considered usually a 20% drop from a recent high, but typically in equity markets like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. Now, I started working on Wall Street in 1993, and again, we've been typically watching these major equity indices, and when those come off 20%, it's time that everyone kind of takes a step back and says, whoa, what are we going to do here? It's time to slow down, etc. Now, that's a great definition in the classical centralized finance world of banking and Wall Street and finance. But in crypto, a 20% market correction can just be 1 or 2 bad days. Does everyone know what I'm talking about here on Zoom, right? I mean, so a bear market can happen, you know, sometimes in a week, and that doesn't happen on Wall Street. So the problem is that we're using sometimes these old paradigms and these old concepts, and we're applying them to a new market. And again, the new extremely volatile market. And the problem with saying something is in a bear market is traditionally in the equities or the bond markets, when you say it, people pull back, the unemployment goes up, inflation goes up, and it's a cycle. Whereas in crypto, sometimes it just means that it's a bad week. And so again, what makes a bear market? Is it 20%? Is it 21%? Is it 19%? Is it 25%? And then what does it mean? How long are we in there for? So I guess I'm questioning our own assumptions and paradigms and terms. So before you start calling it a bull and bear market, we really need to think about, well, what does that actually mean? So let me jump in because I want to show some charts here and some great comments coming in here. We got Michael Cross from Western Australia. If you're joining us here on Zoom, type and tell me what city you're in, turn your camera on, and I want to show a bunch of charts, and then I want to come back and ask a few questions to the group. So let's look at this recent screenshot I grabbed of Bitcoin. It's about a 1 year chart here on Bitcoin, and we can see that it's down, obviously. We were at 68,000 back in October. I did my 10-year anniversary in this studio, and it was at 68,000, and now it's down to under 30,000. And I always like to say this one word, or this one phrase: the trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. This is what I was taught on Wall Street, and the whole concept is that you don't try to go against the major market because you cannot fight the market. And almost by definition, the market is always right. Does that concept make sense to everybody on Zoom? Like, the market is always right because that's where the liquidity is, right? And you could say, no, it's wrong for now, but the truth is that right now it's right because that's where you can buy it and sell it. So I think it's important to recognize the market, and the trend is your friend. Now, on Zoom, I'm going to show you another very interesting slide. And again, if you're on YouTube here, you can join us at londonreal.tv/Zoom. Right now, I'm live. But let's look at this next chart for everybody here. This is another chart, and this is where I'm looking at altcoins. And again, can everybody see here this on Zoom? This is Solana priced versus Ethereum. Now you might say, well, Brian, why are you doing that? I'm used to looking at Solana versus dollars. And this is one of the great lessons I learned from Benjamin Cowan, who was on my show a few months ago. And he's great at looking technical analysis. And he said, Brian, everybody looks at something in terms of dollars, but why not look at something in terms of ETH? Because ETH is the blue chip digital technology play in blockchain. So if you compare it against ETH, you can find out if your altcoin is getting the extra return that you deserve for the extra risk that you're taking. If that makes sense to everybody here on Zoom, type yes in the chat or type no if it doesn't, just to show a thumbs. Does that concept make sense here on Zoom? Thumbs up if it doesn't, thumbs down if it doesn't, because I'll explain it. Well, my point is that if you look at this Solana Ethereum chart, you can see that it's going down, right? Can everybody see that? It's trending down, which means that Solana, in reference to Ethereum, is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So Ethereum is outperforming Solana. And that's an interesting thing, because if you were to sell your Solana, say 3 or 4 months ago, you would have made money if you had sold it into Ethereum. And this is important to watch, and I'm going to show you a bunch of other charts here as well. So pay attention on Zoom, because I want to hit you with a few more. Again, if you're on YouTube, come join us at londonreal.tv/Zoom, because I want to show you a few of the things here. And Michael is feeling this concept. This is a really good concept. So the next one let's look at is AVAX versus ETH, right? How many people here own AVAX? Just type AVAX in the chat if you own it. I've had the founder, Emin Gunsir, on the show. He's very impressive. He's got a great consensus protocol. I've had John Wu, their COO, I believe, on the show from AVAX. And they've got a great layer 1 solution. They've plugged into a lot of great protocols and a lot of big companies. But if you look at it versus ETH, it's outperformed the market in the last 3 to 4 months. Can everybody here on Zoom see that as well? So if you had traded your AVAX in for Ethereum 3 or 4 months ago, you would be up money, because again, it's a riskier asset class. The market is going down. So what happens to our altcoins? Our altcoins go down more than your blue chip coins, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I'll talk about. So this is important. A few months ago, it would have been the right trade to get out of your altcoins into Ethereum, according to this chart. You can see that, and that's really important. Now, hold on a second. It's not all trending down. Let's look at a couple more examples here. Can everybody see here now Cardano versus ETH? Yeah, can you see that, Michael and Bittorrent? Can we see that? What do we see here? Cardano's outperforming ETH in the last couple weeks, right? Cardano's had some big rises lately. It's had some news, and we see that it's not all one way, right? Some of our altcoins like Cardano are actually outperforming Ethereum. So again, this would have not been an intelligent trade a couple weeks ago to get out of your Cardano into Ethereum, because now it's outperforming the ETH. And again, by the way, ETH, it's the second largest market cap out there, 300 million or whatever, 350 million right now. It's the biggest smart contract play by far. The only thing bigger than that is Bitcoin. So again, it's nice to price these things accordingly. And this would show that it would not have been a good idea to trade in your Cardano for Ethereum. Let's go a little bit further, and let's look at one more protocol. This is Polkadot. And by the way, type in the chat if you own Polkadot or AVAX. By the way, while you're here in Zoom, type in the altcoins you own. I'd love to see it, because Bittorrent owns Cardano. We got a few people owning AVAX. What are some of the ones that you're also owning here? We got some Ripple here, Near Protocol. Just type in anything down here in the chat because that would be really good. And again, if you're on YouTube, come join us in our Zoom room. We got Binance, we got Dot, we got Elrond. I'm fans of Elrond. We had their CEO on the show a little while ago. Near as well. Stellar, Binance. We got Near Protocol, some more Cardano, some VET, some Cosmos, Luna, Elrond. Okay, some Curve, some Polkadot. Okay, good. So again, look at the screen right now and you're seeing DOT versus ETH. Now DOT is actually doing pretty good against ETH in the last few weeks. So again, another layer 1 protocol that it would have not have been a good idea to sell against that. And somebody here on YouTube just said Illuvium, that's great. We just had Kieran Warwick from Illuvium on a few weeks ago. They're doing some great things down there in the gaming space in Australia, and we appreciate what they're doing as well. Let me show you something else here on screen for our Zoom room, and that is Sandbox versus Ethereum. Does anybody here own Sand or any other metaverse plays? If you do, type it in the chat. I've got students inside my DeFi Academy that actually own land, huge chunks of land that they're developing inside the Sandbox. I've got people that are in Decentraland as well. Of course, we've got our own plays in places like Cross the Ages and other things that we're doing as well. So again, if you look at the Sand versus ETH chart, you can see that it's actually a pretty decent, it's outperforming ETH is what it's doing in the last couple weeks. And so you can kind of see that it's not all obvious whether you should get rid of your altcoins for ETH right now because each protocol is kind of behaving different versus Ethereum. Is that just clear to everybody here on Zoom? I think this is a really, really good exercise. And by the way, all these charts are out there for free. I'm using the Binance free charts, but all you have to do is type in Sand ETH, Binance, and boom, the charts come up, they're free. And I would say before you look at any protocol, before you make a decision, look at its chart history in dollars, look at its chart history in Ethereum. If it's anything other than Bitcoin, then it should be outperforming Ethereum because it's a technology play. That's what I would say. So you're taking slightly more risk, you have slightly more reward. So again, let me just say back here to my Zoom room and just get on to my next slide here. Oh, let me just pop up right here. There we go. So the final conclusion is on the Sand thing, do you keep them or do you sell them? So let me just see a bunch of faces here based on what I just said. And again, if you could turn your cameras on, if you're coming late on the Zoom room as well, type in what city you're from. We got a couple portfolios. Richard gave us his entire portfolio. So thank you, Richard. And again, I'm going to be sharing a portfolio soon. 30% Bitcoin, 17% Ether, 7% Theta. Okay, some good stuff here. Christopher has Sand. How many people here, based on the charts I just showed you, believe it's time to sell your altcoins? Thumbs down if you think it is. Or time to keep your altcoins? Thumbs up if you think you want to keep them. Can I just see Zoom room? And again, if you want to type in the chat, keep or sell. What do we think? Richard, you want to keep them? Michael, you want to keep them? Let me just see here. Keep them is what Martins is saying. A few other conclusions here. You know, right now it's an interesting time because what happens is when the market goes down, your altcoins, they underperform your blue chip coins. And I'm going to talk about that next, and I'm going to share this concept. So what happens is when the market comes off, when your ETH comes off a few percent, your altcoins are going to come off 5, 6, 7%. When things go up, your ETH is going to go up 2 or 3%. Your altcoins a lot of times are going to rally even more. So it's just got a higher base to it, and it's something just to really keep in mind when we're looking at some of these protocols. Let me just share because I want to continue with a few other really important concepts here for people in our Zoom room. So I'm going to go back to sharing the screen, and again, I want to get the chat in here. If you got any comments or chat, let me know. If you're following us on YouTube, appreciate you being us here. Leave me any comments there. We'll go to learnreal.tv/Zoom and join us in here. Let me talk about this next question because this is important. Do you keep your Bitcoin and Ethereum? This is another important question. Now, again, let me just ask the Zoom room right now. Are you keeping your Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yes. Or are you getting rid of your Bitcoin and Ethereum right now? So yes if you're keeping it, no if you're not. That's what I want to know right now in the Zoom. And let me just quickly define why I'm asking these questions. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are often called the blue chips of crypto. And we're not calling them that because they're safe. They're not like the blue chips in say, the stock markets, all those are down as well. But they're the two largest market caps. Bitcoin is a digital asset play, sometimes called digital gold. Ethereum is the largest smart contract platform with the longest history and the most amount of developers. Those two are pretty much indisputable facts. Does everyone here agree with me on Zoom? Michael, you feeling me on that? Those are pretty standard. Again, these are great concepts. I was at a conference last year with Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital, and he explained it. He said, look, Bitcoin is an incredible digital asset play. It stores value very well. It's bulletproof. Ethereum is a digital technology play. It's what you invest in if you want to bet on a technology going up. And let's keep in mind that those two are unique. After that, you start going into layer ones where most of the market cap is, right? Look at Binance Smart Chain. Look at Cardano. You got stablecoins as well. We see those. And then you start going into various other plays like metaverse plays, gaming plays, all these kinds of things. So before I get through here, let me go to my presentation. That's what a blue chip is. An altcoin is anything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum in the top 100. And then the last question I want to ask you is why have cash or stablecoins? Because I think it's really important. So let's talk about portfolios. And this is an extra slide that I've just thrown in here, which is really helpful. And again, I appreciate, who was it in here? Richard sharing his portfolio. Because the portfolio I'm going to share, Richard, looks actually strangely like yours. At least it did last year. So let me show you this portfolio on the screen, and it's something I always reference. This is a portfolio from a large crypto influencer about a year ago. And I show it because we can see it's got about a quarter of Bitcoin, a quarter of Ethereum, and then you see things like Solana, DOT, USDC. Can everybody see this here in Zoom? You might have seen this chart before. This is a really important chart. And if you're here on YouTube, you can come take a look at this over on our chat here. So that's important, but let me show you why. Because this portfolio has changed, and I just updated it to what it looks like yesterday from the same influencer, and I think it's important because it shows us how people are changing their portfolios. So first of all, that thing is really hard to understand because there's like 20 different slices in the pie chart. And you're like, Brian, it's got Rune and Atomic, and it's got Cardano, and it's got Engine Coin, and it's got, I don't know what's happening here. So first, let's try to understand that slide. And to do that, what we're going to do is we break it down to 4 types of coins. So I'm going to take that slide we just saw there, as everyone can see, and I'm going to break it down into 4 coins. Boom, here we go. It's going to be blue chips, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's going to be stable coins. It's going to be altcoins, top 100 market cap like Cardano, Solana, Mana, Sandbox. And then it's going to be next 100x coins or early stage tokens. These are the small things you haven't heard of. I don't know where Illuvium's market cap is. It's probably over 100 right now. These are small protocols or things that haven't even gone public yet. So we're going to split it up into those 4 groups. If we do, that portfolio looks like this. And everybody in Zoom can see that, right? 50% in the blue, that's stable coins, right? Look, that's blue chip coins. 50% Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, Richard, not too much like your portfolio. Richard had 47% in blue chips. So very interesting. A lot of my influencers have very similar portfolios. What does that tell you? There's a method to the madness. They've been in this game for a little while. What else do you see here? Okay, 8.5% in stablecoins, about 28% in altcoins, and about 15% in the riskier next 100x coins. This was the portfolio about a year ago from a major influencer. Everybody with me here so far on Zoom? This is important, pay attention. Now, you ready for this? You ready for this? Watch this. This is the same portfolio from the same influencer today. What do you notice? Type in the chat, what do you notice, right? What's big in blue? Like the ocean here. And again, if you're on YouTube, I'll give you a little spoiler here. What you see now is you see the blue chip coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, now make up 73% of that portfolio. Look at that. Now it's gone from 50% now to 73%. What else do they hold? They still hold some altcoins. So they still hold about 19%. And that's probably a makeup of some Solana, some Cardano, some layer ones, some metaverse plays, the big ones. Then you see the next 100x coins, the highly risky plays, has gone really small, only about 5.9%. And again, they're holding very little stablecoin at this point. So they're not really keeping cash around to buy. What they want to do is they're holding up for a potential bear market bumpy ride, and they believe they'd rather be holding things that have big market caps. How many people here find that useful? Just type yes in the chat or thumbs up if you do here on Zoom. I think it's really interesting, and this is a real portfolio from a real influencer. And again, this is not just one person. A lot of people are trending this way. And again, follow the money. This is important. So whether you are or not, the market is lightening up on their altcoins, and they're moving into the blue chip coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Some people like Benjamin Cowan are moving almost strictly into Bitcoin and moving out of their Ethereum because it is the safest and it's the biggest crypto. Whether it's the safest or not, I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice, but you can make that decision. So this is a really important portfolio, and everybody's saying yes, so that finds that helpful. And yeah, interesting. Zachary said, I'm surprised to see stablecoins so low. So am I. It just means that They've probably converted everything they want to convert cash-wise into Bitcoin and Ethereum. But yeah, they're not keeping powder dry to buy things because they're probably not going to buy altcoins at this point. So this is an interesting thing. Let me just keep moving on the slide here. I'm going to just pop out and unshare here and just go back here and show you my pretty face. Just going back here to our chat here. By the way, if you're coming a little late on Zoom, just type in what city you're from and whether you think, yes, it's time to sell your altcoins or no. Just let me see a show of thumbs here. Bill Allen and Ned, did you find that helpful to see that portfolio by Bittorrent as well? And again, look, I'm not here to tell you whether it's time to get rid of altcoins or not. What I'm showing you is that major influencers and players are just moving from alts into those blue chips. And you can kind of see their portfolios, and they're doing it because they know that if the market does come off, it'll come off less in those bigger protocols. And it's an important thing to think about and to start really, understanding and getting comfortable with. Also, you can see the next 100x coins, even the smaller protocols, are even less. And I think that's a really, really important point to talk about. Again, appreciate everybody here and appreciate all the comments on YouTube as well. Let me finish with my final point, which I think is a really important point here. And that is to talk about stablecoins. And this is important because we've all had quite an interesting ride with stablecoins. Can everybody here on Zoom see my stablecoin slide? So it's stablecoins do's and don'ts. And this is something I've been talking about inside our Crypto and DeFi Academy for a year now, over a year. And I want to walk through 3 basic concepts on stablecoins because a lot of people, when they get out of their altcoins, will get into stablecoins. Or some people are going to say, I'm going to get out of Ethereum and get into stablecoins because it's kind of a cash equivalent, or is it? This is what I want to talk about. So 3 things I want to talk about. First of all, is a dollar the same as a stablecoin? Can I ask the chat here on Zoom, is a dollar in your bank account, say in the US, the same or very similar to a stablecoin? Can I just get yeses or nos here here on the chat? This is what I want to hear. And I want to talk about what I think here. We got nos, yeses from Bittorrent. Zachary said, seems so. Some people say yes, Peg. All right, I'm going to talk about this. The second thing I want to talk about is algorithmic stablecoins versus asset-backed stablecoins. And the last thing I want to talk about is fiat inflation in the future. So let's jump into this. Richard Paradis says yes if it's USDC. So let's talk about the first thing. Is a dollar the same as a stablecoin like USDC pegged to the dollar? First of all, I just want to say, I've had Jeremy Allaire here, the founder of Circle, on my show. He created Circle back in 2013. He's a very smart guy who was involved in the internet before that. And they have probably the most transparent, the most 100% asset-backed stablecoin. If you mint a USDC, they go out and buy $1 worth of US Treasury bonds, not corporate paper, and they keep that and hold that in a custodial account against that dollar. Is everybody clear here on Zoom here? That's what they do with USDC. Again, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, but I have had conversations with them. Then there's USDT. It's not exactly clear what their collateral is. It's not exactly clear where they're located. By the way, Jeremy goes in front of Congress, by the way, and puts it all on the line on a regular basis. The USDT people, they're not necessarily located in the States. We don't know the exact collateral, but it is an asset-backed piece. Let's talk about the difference between a dollar and that. And I used to live in the States, and I had a savings account. And those savings accounts where I held my dollars, right? My grandma used to give me a $300 check for my college savings, and I would stick it in the bank. That dollar was held by a U.S. bank, and it was guaranteed up to $100,000 by the FDIC, the Federal Depository Insurance Corporation. Is everybody here with me within the States? Thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about in the States. And if you have a dollar bill in your hand right now, that dollar, you can go read on it, along with all the funny symbolism and all the weird kind of cult things going on there. It'll say, backed by the full faith and credit of the United States of America, which means this. For that dollar in your hand, or that dollar in that U.S. bank account, the U.S. is going to roll out the tanks to protect the value of that dollar. Is everybody clear here? That's what that dollar means. That's why it's considered the most stable currency in the world. That's why it's the flight to quality, and that's why whether you love it or hate it, or you agree with the Fed or not, it still is that one highest currency of choice, regardless of what you think about the U.S., the Fed, et cetera, et cetera. Let's just be honest. A USDC is not that. It is something that's, first of all, on the blockchain, which tech's been around for a few years. It looks pretty good. It's a smart contract programmed on Ethereum. It's held in custody in an account by some folks that seem like they mean really well at USDC. But it's not the same as a dollar, right? It's very different than a dollar. It might be pegged to the dollar. It might behave like the dollar. but it's not a dollar. And that's potentially why you might get a higher yield on that as opposed to the dollar itself in the bank account. Is that clearer here to everybody on Zoom and some of the people here? I would just say, let's be clear. I love the concept of a stablecoin. It's an incredible invention, incredible asset class, but it's not a dollar, even though it says USDC, USDT. And we'll talk later about UST, but it's still not a dollar. So let's just be clear about that. It's not a bill that you have. It's not located in a US bank that's guaranteed by the Fed. It's located on the blockchain, which you just don't know what's going to happen out there. And again, so it's a slightly riskier asset class. Sometimes you get more return. Jeremy told me that the reason you get a higher return is because your dollar in a bank account in the US is deflated, right? It's actually held down in yield. But let's just be clear, it's not the same thing. They're very different asset classes. One is riskier than the other. Everybody good here and clear with me so far here on Zoom? Okay, it's really important. And again, any questions or comments you got, I'm going to go to questions in about 5 minutes here. Nextly, let's talk about algorithmic versus asset-backed stablecoins. Again, we've just seen what happened with the UST, with the Terra Luna piece. It was an ambitious project that had some technology that was going to try to create an algorithmic stablecoin that could be created with a higher velocity and created with more technology, not to have that one-to-one asset backed. And guess what? It didn't work at the end of the day. We knew it had higher yields. And by the way, if it's yielding higher, then by definition, the risk is higher. That's really important for everybody on Zoom here to understand, right? It's called no free lunch. We say that on Wall Street, right? If it looks too good to be true, then maybe it is. So if you're getting a high yield on something, there is inherently more risk, whether it says US in front of it or not. And again, we still have some work to do when it comes to algorithmic stablecoins. And in the future, they'll always probably have a higher yield because there's more risk. So always understand, if you're going to hold something in a coin, a fiat currency, you've got the currency itself, you've got the currency maybe in a bank account, you've got the currency in a treasury bond, then you have a currency in a stable coin asset backed, and then you've got it in a algorithmic stable coin. And all of those are different asset classes and risk classes by definition. Good? Does everybody understand with me here on Zoom as far as that? Really important. The last thing I would say is this, is some of the people here are probably saying, well, why would I want fiat currency? Fiat currencies they're created by governments. They actually don't stand for anything. They're not backed by anything. We've got inflation. We got the Fed printing money. Why would I even want these fiat currency? Brian says, I want Bitcoin. Well, look, that's a decision you're going to have to make. What I would say is this, as much as we are very critical of federal banks, of people printing money, of governments doing these things, at the end of the day, they still have a large amount of control on the economy, and the US dollar is still the most stable currency out there in the world. And right now, it is something that is being printed, rates are being raised, and it's actually defining the value and prices of many asset classes in the world. So now is not the time to say, look, I'm not going to be involved in this. Now is the time really to go ahead and at least understand it, be able to hold some fiat currency and also hold it as a stable coin if you need to. Know that there's an inherent risk there, but just get comfortable. And again, I don't think fiat currencies are going anywhere for at least 50 years. I think we're going to be in a reality. When you look at Bitcoin, you see something that, in my opinion, that in the long run will work better, something that's deflationary by definition, but also fiat currency is going to be here. It's something we're all probably going to be paid in for a while. We're going to use for our transactions for the next 5, 10, 15 years for the majority of it. So get a relationship with fiat, have some fiat, and have some stable coins as well. Everybody with me here on Zoom here? That's what I would say. Really think about it. And again, it's very easy in crypto to be critical of fiats, but we live in a world of fiat. I'm in London. Everybody uses pounds. Okay, there's a few places that will accept Bitcoin, maybe. In America, there's a few places that accept crypto. Great. But in the meantime, we are living in a fiat world. So get comfortable with that. Have a fiat position. If you want to have a stablecoin position, great, but understand that that involves more risk as well. So let me just make a couple final points, and I want to go to some great questions here on Zoom, and I really appreciate everybody here. What I would say is this, whether we're in a bear market or not, it's important that you successfully invest long-term in this asset class. I believe that crypto and blockchain and decentralized finance and the metaverse and even NFTs are here to stay. I think it's a fundamental shift in how we relate to each other as humans, how we transfer value peer-to-peer. It's such an exciting time. I was there for the dot-com boom back in 1999. I was in New York City. I was a CFO of a dot-com startup, and I saw this technology change the world over 20 years. I saw mobile phone technology change the world. And guess what? Crypto and blockchain is going to do the same thing. So the best thing to do in a bumpy market is to invest in three things. And you probably know what I'm going to say. It's your education, your mentorship, and your community. This is where the value is, and this is where the big things are built right now. So that's what I really want to do. Again, type any questions you got here in the chat right now because I want to talk about that. And some great questions coming here as well. Zachary is saying surprising to see stablecoins so low in that portfolio, which is great. And again, a bunch of other great questions coming in here about people asking me about blue chips. And again, stablecoins, whether it's US dollar or euro, which is great. Let me just finish up a couple final points here for my Zoom audience. And again, really appreciate everybody being here. Now is the time to get the questions. We had a great question here about Bittorrent and what's happening with our with the guys over at Tron, etc. And we've had Justin Sun on the show. Let me finish with a couple final points here, and then I want to answer questions. And I appreciate everybody here on YouTube. If you want to come hang out with us, it's londonreal.tv/Zoom to be a part of it. So again, now is the time to invest in yourself, invest in mentorship, invest in a community. We have an amazing community here at London Real, and I want to quickly tell you about it because that's what we do. I teach this stuff from the studio with this suit and tie on every single Monday and Thursday. Our next course starts in a couple days. And if you want to join us, I will literally be there with you to mentor you on this incredible journey for the next coming 10 years. That's where we're in this space for. And we have it. It's called our Crypto and DeFi Academy. It's a 4-week blockchain boot camp. And I'm here like this every Monday and Thursday live, giving it large. And you become part of a great community. Look at all these beautiful faces on Zoom. It's a really incredible community that adds and contributes and collaborates. Again, some of my members go on to our Kings of DeFi and our investment club program. They're buying land in the sandbox together. They're investing in early stage protocols. They're becoming advisories on the board. It's absolutely amazing. So our course is coming up here next in a few days. And again, it's 4 weeks, it's 4 modules, and it's about you being a part of the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Now is the time to invest in yourself and invest in these protocols. I'm telling you, this is the time. And again, one of my students said last night on my Kings of DeFi, they said millionaires are made in the bear market. Think about that. Millionaires are made in the bear market. If you're in Zoom right now, type million in the chat if you think that's true. Millionaires are made in the bear market, because that could very well be true. And that's where all of those big players that are on my show, they built these billion-dollar protocols back in 18, back in a real crypto bear market, right? Where things were coming off 90%, where everybody said crypto was a scam. Now crypto's coming off, okay, 50%, and people are saying it's a bear market. These people went through serious hard times. So I'd say for you, this is the time to invest in yourself now and to go big, and that's what we're doing inside this academy. We take a small group of people through this entire course. This is a picture of me teaching inside my students. This is me in the studio in the middle, and you got all these incredible people coming from all over the world. We've graduated over 1,000 people in our Crypto and DeFi Academy from, I think, 52 countries. We usually have people representing 14 time zones. Heavy shout out to our people down under in Oz and New Zealand. We got people in California, Puerto Rico, all over Europe. We got people in Asia. We got people, and that's why this community is so strong. So we love this. It's an incredible place to be. Our course is 8 hours of live calls with me. It's exclusive access to all of my training videos. I go deep on every single module. You got my triple tiered accountability system, so you take action every single day. You have to open up wallets. You have to go ahead and invest in these DeFi protocols. We even have you going in and looking at options trading and yield swapping and liquidity pools. And then we show you how to have a 10-coin rule and really have a portfolio and a strategy for the future. I've got dedicated coaches, team leaders that work with you every single day. And there's a private group for uploading videos. We build community in an amazing, amazing way. And if you're here on this Zoom call right now, I've pre-approved you for this course. So you can literally join me tonight, londonreal.tv/buy. And you can join this course right now. I'm telling you, you'll jump into our Facebook group, you'll meet our community, and you'll see me live on Monday night at 6 p.m. for our call. This is the best thing you can do in this market. When other people are crying and running for the hills, you can get here and jump in and going hard on this. So again, that link is in the chat right now. We stuck it on there. It's only good as far as this call is going on right now. So again, jump in, join the course. You'll go right into it, and you'll join me on Monday for the live call. You'll get an incredible community that you get to plug into. When the course is over, you can plug into the greater community, and then some people go on to create their own YouTube channels. One of my students just got 6 figures in advisory tokens for a new blockchain protocol. They're investing in early stage startups. They're buying land in the metaverse and in the sandbox. They're building their metaverse plays. They're buying NFTs. They're minting NFTs. They're understanding chart reading, advanced options trading. This is what we do here. And this is the time to do it. This is not the time to back off. This is the time to go forward and build something in a bear market when everyone else is licking their wounds. Now's the time to take action. And again, just want to highlight some of our success stories. I love bragging about my students. This is Marianne, former massive Wall Street analyst. She's actually going out there doing her own crypto events, starting to consulting, and she's actually going to have her own YouTube channel as well soon. And it's been amazing to see her journey of really reinventing herself after being an incredible successful career on Wall Street. Now she's going into the crypto space, and everyone loves her and needs her, and we really appreciate you, Marianne. Also, I love to sing about my man Andrew, who's here. Andrew Hayden's amazing. He's a master of the metaverse, and this is his mansion inside the sandbox with his own NFT gallery, and he's built this. He just bought a 6x6 plot of land in the sandbox, and he's building a variety of places. He's big into the NFT game, and in Switzerland, he's becoming a massive player when he's advising C-level, C-suite executives, and he's teaching them how to get into the metaverse, NFTs, and blockchain gaming. Andrew's part of our Kings of DeFi and our investment club, as is Marianne, and we love what they do. And of course, you know I love to talk about Encore. Started his YouTube channel 140 days ago, just crossed 1,000 subscribers. His videos got 40,000 views, 30,000 views. He's advisors now to a lot of blockchain startups. He's going head-to-head with CEOs on the phone, talking about whether it's time to early stage invest. This is what our students have done in months. And they started, and they pulled the trigger, and they did that, and that's why they're at the next level. This is what we do inside our academy. This isn't some video that you watch or some piece of audio you listen to at your time. This is something that we all go through as a group, and I hold you accountable to get to the next level. So again, real quickly, it's 4 weeks, it's 4 modules. That's what we do inside here. And again, each module goes through a separate protocol. Week 1, we go through all of the learnings in this module. And again, we go through the history. You read the Bitcoin white paper. You learn about smart contracts. You learn about Ethereum. You learn about Uniswap, the DeFi summer of 2020. You learn about Ethereum 2.0. You learn about Black Thursday in March 2020. And you really get a feel for the history of crypto over the past 15 years. I bought Bitcoin in 2013, and I've been around this space for almost 10 years. Week 2, we get into the arena. You set up your stablecoins, your hot wallets, your cold wallets. You get in and all of your blue chip coins, and you actually execute your first swap on a decentralized exchange. So you're literally plugged into Uniswap with a hot wallet, and you're rocking and rolling in DeFi. And again, we get action from our students, so it's amazing what people learn, and they would never do it themselves. In week 3, we go deeper on decentralized protocols and decentralized finance, yield swapping, liquidity pools, options trading. And of course, in week 4, we go into how to position your portfolio for the future. 10-coin rule, 30-day watch list, my first system and a whole community of people that make sure you put stop losses in and you really have a great 10-year investment horizon. So that's what we do on the inside. Again, you can join today. You've got the hot link, londonreal.tv/buy, B-U-Y. You can join us right now. It's incredible. The mentorship is amazing. You're pre-approved here on this call. And I want to go to questions right now. But just want to say, we got a couple last-minute bonuses I throw in here. If you join today, it's bonus number 1. It's actually how to find the hottest crypto pre-sale tokens. I got a whole 90-minute training session I did for this, and that's what a bunch of my students are doing on the inside. This is tokens before they go live. Second thing I want to give you is an event I did with Dan Pena, the $1 trillion man at the Ritz. This is 6 hours of Dan Pena blasting at a small group of people. It was a private event, high price point, a couple billionaires in the room, and we're going to give you this as a free video as well. And bonus number 3 is how to trade NFTs. It's a crypto-based digital art form, and I go into all the basics as well. So these 3 bonuses come to you. Again, you're pre-approved, londonreal.tv/buy if you're on this call. Seriously, join us. Build when everyone else is running for the hills. That's actually going to make you something incredible and big in the future, and that's exactly what we're doing here, going super big. Just want to say one final thing. My Crypto Academy is not for day traders, not for people looking to try to get rich quick. It's not for meme coin and trolls. It's not for blockchain fanboys that like to study the theory. It's for people who want to pull the trigger and get into the arena and make things happen. And I always love saying, life all comes down to a few moments. This is one of them. This is my picture of Bud Fox and Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street. This is your chance to make a decision right now, and you can join us. And again, literally, it's a couple days away, and you'll get me live. You'll get all of our mentorship, our community, our protocols, and all of our learnings, and you'll build something for the future, not just sit on the sidelines and watch. So that's a pre-approved link. I'm just going to stop my screen share and go right to questions and answers. Just want to say, was that helpful for everybody here on Zoom? Just thumbs up if that was really helpful. I really wanted to dig deep here and go on that for everybody here on Zoom. I really appreciate you. I want to go to now questions in the chat. We got a great audience tonight, and I really appreciate everybody here. But I want to go to questions right now, and I'm seeing a bunch of them here. Michael Van Zanten on YouTube says, I own no altcoins in bear markets. So that's an interesting point, Michael. I appreciate that input. And again, looks like you just want to get out of that and get into stable things, which is good. John Freeman on YouTube says, how much do I need to start investing? Again, we're not financial advisors, but you can start small. Always start small. Start with $50, $100. That's how you learn these protocols. And that's what we do. We do everything small, but we start. We don't wait. And Eric Wallace on YouTube says, I'm not sure if we should get more ADA or more sand yet. That's an interesting question. Go look at the charts and price them up, which is really, really important. And again, if you want to be on YouTube, come join me in Zoom because I'm going to give love to my Zoom people right now. Again, if you're on Zoom, turn cameras on because I want to go to anybody who's got a camera on for questions and do a bunch here. I got Ivan Castillo saying QLA. He's making a reference to Dan Pena's Quantum Leap Advantage. And yes, I spent quite a little bit of time with Dan Pena over the last 8 years. I've been to the castle twice, 3 times. Yeah, it's quite an experience there. And don't worry, Dan will be buying some crypto very soon here as well. Again, everybody's approved on this call to join this academy. It's learnable.tv/buy, B-U-Y. Let me get some questions here as well. And let me see, we got Ricardo asking people here. Boom. Ricardo's asking me about whether people should stay in blue chips or fiat currencies. And you know, again, Ricardo, the thing is there's 4 asset classes. 4 asset classes that you want to look at any portfolio, right? They're blue chips, so that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's what I call altcoins, which is the top 100 market caps, usually worth about $1 billion, maybe these markets down to about $500 million. Next, you've got these next 100x coins, right? These coins, again, there's 20,000 coins on CoinMarketCap right now. So 19,900 of them are next 100x coins. Does that make sense to everybody here in Zoom, right? Most of them coins without large market caps. They might have great ideas, but we don't know if they're proven protocols. And of course, pre-sale tokens go in those as well, which is what we do inside the investment club. We're investing in early stage blockchain funds. So, and then the last one is stablecoin. And Ricardo, that is typically an asset-backed stablecoin, which is a dollar-based instrument like a fiat. So I want everybody inside my academy to feel comfortable on a daily basis to move from, for example, Cardano to Ethereum, to move from Sandbox to Ethereum, to move from Ethereum to stablecoin, to move from stablecoin back into Bitcoin, and to move potentially from a stablecoin into a next 100x coin. You look at Illuvium, you look at my interview with Kieran Warwick, and you're like, wow, these guys have some next level gaming. I'm going to move into that. So I want you to always have those 4 quadrants and to be thinking I'm going to move in and out. But Ricardo, look at that portfolio from that influencer, 73% in blue chips. It's something to think about. And again, fiat currency right now, whatever you might have to say about the dollar, it's probably one of the more stable instruments out there. And again, okay, in the long run, it might be printing money, etc., but it's something that's kind of running the show. And I think it's an important thing just to admit that and to know that. So a couple more questions in here. Richard says, I see $100 trillion market cap by 2030, so I invest in things I believe will be around for a long time. Richard, you got a great point. The current market cap of crypto, I think, is about 1.2, 1.4 trillion, according to coinmarketcap.com. Is everybody with me here? Right. Okay. So 10 years from now, yeah, it's very possible this asset becomes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 trillion. You start getting up your equities, about 100 trillion. Real estate, government bonds are these big asset classes. We believe that, of course, crypto, blockchain, DeFi, metaverse is all going there. Why the next 10 years we're into this. But again, we also recognize that the next 12 months could be ups and downs. That's why we have a long-term investment perspective, and that's what we do here. So a couple other questions here that people are coming in. Rahendra said, what's your view on Bttc and Bittorrent? So, you know, we've had Justin Son of Tron on the show, who's a layer 1 solution, who are developing all their outboard protocols over there. We've had a lot of layer 1 solutions on here. Hedera Hashgraph, we've had AVAX on here, we've had Tron, we've had quite a few. And, you know, they're doing things as well with Bittorrent out there and doing collaborations with them. And it's always interesting to see the blockchain incorporate some of the previous technologies into what they're doing. One thing I know is true, and this is something that Dan Moorhead said to me at Pantera Capital. They run 3, 4, 5 billion in investment funds for crypto. He said when young people ask him what they should do with their lives, 18-year-olds, he says, blockchain. Do it on the blockchain. So whatever you're going to do going forward with your life, do it on the blockchain. That could mean health. That could mean healthcare. That could mean marketing. That could mean whatever, philosophy, just content creation, but do it on the blockchain. I love people to start YouTube channels, but in the long run, we want our content on the blockchain. And that's what I would say to everybody here is that everything's moving there because it's transparent, it's trustless, it's permissionless. We get to see what's happening. And it's a great way of us, I think, being better versions of ourselves as humans. So that's a great question there. One of the questions coming from Michael McIntosh and on YouTube, and he said, I love Cardano's plan to help free people from financial system and give the power back to us. That's why we're here. We're big fans of freedom. We fought hard for freedom of speech in 2020. We put everything on the line here, all of our YouTube channels, everything. We could have been completely taken off the internet, but we went and fought for freedom of speech. When I ran to be mayor of London, they tried to ban me from campaigning. It was ridiculous, and we fought for free and fair elections, and now we're here for financial freedom. So, Michael, on YouTube, I totally agree with you. We want anything that empowers people's financial freedom, and all these asset classes do that. The layer ones, the stablecoins, the wallets, the metaverse plays, the NFTs all give us ownership. If the old traditional system is money in your bank account and controlled by the Fed and fiat being printed, you don't have the control. So we want to stay away from that as well. I just want to say for anybody here still watching me now, you can still jump on this course. It's londonreal.tv/buy, B-U-Y. And you'll be with me live in a couple days' time, getting full training, all of our videos, our community, our connection, mentorship, and you're going to be building. And maybe you'll become one of those millionaires that's built in a bear market, which is really important. I want to go through a couple final questions here. Bill on Zoom is saying, I'm playing big time catch up as a newbie on all this technology, but I know I need to get in. Bill, the time to start is now. You don't want to wait on this stuff. My students started a year ago, and now they're crushing it out there, even through the bear markets. So they always say, there's an old proverb, I think it's a Chinese proverb, there's two good times to plant a tree. The first good time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second good time is today, right? Because both of them will start your path of change. So I would say for Bill and anybody else here that's on the fence, find a way to get a community that you can go with and work with and get to the next level and just continue to change and change and change. But it starts with taking action. It starts with being held accountable as well. And it starts with having a community and a mentor that gets you to the next level. We're big fans of action, 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 action here. So let me get a few other questions here from people. By the way, I really appreciate everybody being here. Has this been helpful? If it has on Zoom, just type in yes if this has been helpful. I really feel like we got some really good energy and a really good vibe going here with everybody here. And I really appreciate that, which is great. Couple other questions here. Richard saying, I love your energy. Let's raise $100 million together. It's great. You're sending me that email as well, which is great. Look, I'm Brian at londonreal.tv if you want to shoot me a message as well. If anybody wants to send me a message, that's me. The best thing is obviously join our course and you can talk to me on a daily basis and we can collab, which is great. But yeah, there's all sorts of things as well. Lots of places, people talking about accepting crypto and people here accepting crypto. People in the Caribbean now accepting Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, which is great. Rahandra says, my bank is blocking the purchases of crypto, and we're seeing that a lot because I think banks and financial institutions see crypto as something that threatens them. And so sometimes they block it. All we can do is keep fighting back. We can obviously obey the laws of your local jurisdiction, but we can always find ways to tell our banks and our politicians that we want crypto and blockchain in our life. And let me say a couple final thoughts here. I ran to be mayor of London. I spent 7 months in the political game. And one thing I know for sure is that politicians want your vote, and they want also to get reelected, and they care about money and how they can distribute money to get more votes. If you tell them crypto is important, then they will make crypto important. And we're already seeing the U.S. change. I think the next president of the United States is going to be pro-crypto. And that's because of what all of us are telling our politicians. So tell our financial institutions, tell our banks, tell everybody that we want change, demand that change, and watch them come back with better policies, maybe more regulation that helps us actually, and better protocols, and not these knee-jerk reactions of fear, which is the worst thing to do. So that's what I would say to everybody here. Any final questions, put them in Zoom. And again, there's a buy link in there as well. Join us on this course. It'll be the best thing you ever do. It'll probably be the highest return on anything you buy, including crypto, for the next 10 years of your life. Because if you invest in yourself and your education, you can see more opportunities, you can do more, you can empower more people. And that's what we're trying to do here, get you educated. You can't stick your head to the sand. That's the one thing you cannot do. You have to educate yourself when it comes to these protocols. So it looks like there's a lot of love here, so thank you. Michael Batista, it's always great to see you on here. Thank you, brother. It's always amazing to see you. You're always here, and you're always with us. I got some great students here that have been with us in the academy as well. And again, a lot of people on this call have already graduated from our academy. They're big parts of it. They've taken their lives to the next level. And I love our students. I love teaching. But like I said, in conclusion, now is the time to go big on this. Now is the time to invest, because I'm telling you, when this market comes back, and that could be months, it could be a year, but it's going to come back, then you want to be the one that's ready, that's been invested. You don't want to be the one that then decides that crypto is going to be an important thing a year from now or 18 months from now. So again, join us, get that mentorship. I'd love to be a part of that. I'd love to see you on the Zoom call that starts in a couple days' time. Couple final questions. I can't stop talking to you now, which is great. We've got people all over the world doing this, and a bunch of people have seen our content from the beginning, and a bunch of people are saying thank you as well. So I appreciate everybody. Again, the buy link is in there, learntobuild.tv/buy. Join us. And again, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I'm going to try to do more of these live broadcasts and answer the questions I'm getting DM'd on a regular basis. I would just say one final thing, is that remember that for a 10-year perspective, all of this stuff it's just a no-brainer. We believe in this market. We believe that this is a shift in human paradigm, that it's not just a technology, it's a way that we actually interact differently with with each other as humans. It's peer-to-peer value transfer, and we want to be involved in investing in this in the future. And so I would just say, when in doubt, zoom out. That's what our friend BitBoy Crypto says. When in doubt, zoom out. And again, sometimes you don't want to look at the price of Bitcoin every day. You don't want to read all these clickbait headlines that get you to freak out and panic. Don't worry about the price of Bitcoin today, the next week, the next month, the next 3 months. Worry about how you're going to learn, how you're going to build your influence, and how you're going to help early stage companies. That's what I always say. Focus on 3 things: your education, your influence, and that means also some of your early stage investing. That's the best thing to do here. Stay positive. Get a community of people around you that can remind you, real people, not NFT pictures on Twitter, real people with real profiles that can remind you we're in this for the long run, and it's a beautiful thing. So that's what I'd say to everybody. Thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Gim. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Ned and Ricardo and Badran and Chris and Jim. I appreciate everybody having their cameras on. Always gives me a lot of energy here in the studio. Big shout out to the Queen for her Golden Jubilee. And I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. And again, that buy link is going to work. So look to join us, and I look forward to seeing you in there. We had a bunch of people join us from our last call, and we're looking forward to kicking off an amazing class in just a few days' time. So big love to everybody here. Thank you so much. All right. And I'll see you inside the academy. Make sure you go big, and I'll see you on that next live call. All right. Thanks, everybody. Big love to you. All right. Bye. Thanks, everybody on YouTube. Really appreciate you. There'll be a link below if you want to join us in the course. It's an amazing experience, and I really appreciate all the great comments here and all the great people here live. So thank you so much, and best of luck with your journey. I hope this really helped you in everything you want to do.